Our breaking news, Viking Nation. The first revelation is about to detonate inside US Bank Stadium, and you're not ready for what's coming. A franchise-defining roster decision has just been locked in, setting the stage for KJ McCarthy's coronation as a new king of Minnesota. But that's just the beginning of this chaos. Because while one door closes on a 53-man roster, another one opens with a familiar face suddenly back on the market, a face that every Vikings fan knows by heart. And if that wasn't enough to shake the purple foundations, a beloved veteran just got hit with devastating news that changes everything about the offensive game plan. Meanwhile, the front office is hunting in the trade market like wolves in the wilderness, targeting not one but multiple weapons that could transform this offense into an unstoppable force. Each of these 5 shocks could redefine the future of this team. And Viking Nation, you're about to witness history in the making. The first bombshell hits right now, and it's all about the moment we've been waiting for since draft night. KJ McCarthy is officially your starting quarterback, and the 53-man roster that will march into Chicago is locked and loaded. But hold on tight, because what comes next will have you questioning everything you thought you knew about this organization's master plan. But hold on, as shocking as that roster construction is, the next update cuts even deeper into the purple heart of this franchise. The Minnesota Vikings just executed one of the most calculated and ruthless roster reductions in recent memory, and KJ McCarthy is officially your Week 1 starter against the Bears in his hometown of Chicago. After months of speculation, debates, and whispered conversations in the hallways of the Twin Cities Orthopedic Center, Kwesi Adofo-Mensah and Kevin O'Connell have made their declaration. The Michigan legend is ready to lead this franchise into a new era. This isn't just about cutting down to 53 players, Viking Nation. This is about surgical precision in building a championship caliber roster. The front office executed a multi-pronged approach that began with trading veteran defensive lineman Harrison Phillips to the Jets, continued with shipping Sam Howell to the Eagles, and culminated with moving Mickey Blackmon to the Colts. These weren't desperate moves. These were chess moves by a general manager who sees 3 moves ahead of everyone else in the league. 28 players were shown the door through waivers, releases, and contract terminations. But what remains is a 53-man roster that screams one thing: we're built for war. The quarterback room tells the entire story of this organization's confidence. McCarthy, the hometown hero who grew up dreaming of wearing purple and gold, will take his first professional snap in the city where his legend began. Max Brosmer, an undrafted rookie who shined throughout camp and preseason like a diamond in the rough, secured the backup spot with performances that left veterans shaking their heads in amazement. Carson Wentz, the former number 2 overall pick with 94 NFL starts under his belt, provides the veteran insurance that championship teams require. Viking Nation, do you realize what you're witnessing? This isn't just roster construction. This is destiny being written in real time. When McCarthy steps into Soldier Field on September 8th, he'll carry the hopes of an entire franchise that just bet everything on his arm, his mind, and his Minnesota heart. The question isn't whether he's ready. The question is whether the rest of the NFL is ready for what's coming. And just when fans thought the roster chaos couldn't get more intriguing, here comes a plot twist that nobody saw coming, but maybe everybody should have. KJ Osborn, the wide receiver who carved his name into Vikings lore with clutch catches and overtime heroics, is suddenly back on the market after Washington showed him the door. This isn't just any former Viking hitting free agency. This is the man who caught the game-winning touchdown in overtime against the Panthers in 2021. The same player who delivered when the lights were brightest and the stakes were highest. For 3 seasons, Osborn was the reliable third option that made this offense click, hauling in 158 passes for 1,145 yards and 15 touchdowns while wearing purple and gold. Remember that comeback victory over the Colts in 2022. Osborn was right there in the thick of it, making the plays that mattered when the season was on the line. Now, after unsuccessful stints with New England and Washington, where he managed just 7 catches with the Patriots and couldn't even register a reception with the Commanders, the 28-year-old veteran finds himself at a crossroads. Dean Jones from Rigo's Rag put it perfectly when he wrote that Minnesota is the obvious destination that makes too much sense, especially with the Vikings desperately seeking wide receiver reinforcements on the trade market. Here's what makes this reunion so compelling. Viking Nation. Osborn knows this system like the back of his hand. He's got chemistry with the coaching staff, and he's always been one of the most exceptional blocking receivers in the league, something that Kevin O'Connell values tremendously. Ben Gosling from the Star Tribune suggested that if the Vikings are looking for a plug-and-play option that will cost less than trading for Adam Thielen, Osborn might be the perfect fit. Miles Simmons from NBC Sports echoed that sentiment, noting that Minnesota is supposedly trying to acquire Thielen from Carolina, but hasn't been able to reach an agreement on price, making Osborn an ideal alternative option. Think about this situation for a moment. With Jordan Addison suspended for the first 3 games of the season, the Vikings need someone who can step in immediately and contribute without missing a beat. Who better than a player who already knows the playbook, understands the culture, and has a proven track record of making big plays in crucial moments? The numbers don't lie either. Osborn's production during his Minnesota years suggests he's a significantly better option than current depth pieces like Tim Jones, Miles Price, and Ty Felton. Viking Nation, would you welcome back the prodigal son who helped deliver some of the most memorable moments in recent franchise history? But that's not the only fire burning inside this franchise. The next revelation is a devastating blow that changes the entire offensive landscape. CJ Ham, the beloved fullback and special teams captain who has been the heartbeat of this organization for nearly a decade, has been placed on injured reserve with an undisclosed injury that will keep him sidelined until at least week 5. This isn't just about losing a player, Viking Nation. This is about losing a piece of the Viking soul. Ham, the 32-year-old Duluth native who walked through these doors as an undrafted rookie tryout player in 2016, has become the second longest tenured Viking behind only Harrison Smith. Think about that journey for a moment. From undrafted long shot to 2-time Pro Bowler. From unknown quantity to one of the best fullbacks in the league where most teams don't even utilize the position anymore. Ham's role in Kevin O'Connell's offense might seem narrow to the casual observer, but those who understand the intricacies of this system know how crucial he truly is. Last season, he played 261 offensive snaps, his highest total since 2021, serving as a blocker on 178 of those snaps while adding 7 touches as a receiver and rusher. But his impact extends far beyond the offensive side of the ball. Ham is a special teams captain and one of Minnesota's most versatile and reliable players in that phase, logging 200 LW1 special teams snaps last year and exceeding 200 in all 8 seasons since his 2017 debut. The fan favorite has survived coaching changes, regime transitions, and roster overhauls because he represents everything this organization values: toughness, reliability, and an unwavering commitment to doing whatever it takes to win. His absence creates a ripple effect throughout the roster construction, as the Vikings now must decide whether to add another fullback, move an existing player to that position, or simply operate without one during his recovery period. Ham's injury meant the team could keep both Xavier, Scott, and Ty Chandler in the running back room behind Aaron Jones and Jordan Mason. But it also removes a safety blanket that JJ McCarthy was counting on as he prepares for his first professional season. Viking Nation, how do you replace nearly a decade of leadership, versatility, and pure Minnesota grit wrapped up in one player? Ham's injury is more than just a roster move. It's the loss of a culture carrier who embodies everything it means to be a Viking. Stay with me, because what comes next will flip the script in ways nobody predicted, and it involves a potential trade that could provide the perfect weapon for JJ McCarthy's arsenal. The Las Vegas Raiders have a problem, and that problem might be exactly what the Minnesota Vikings need to solve their own wide receiver crisis. Jacobe Meyers, the productive pass catcher who has thrived despite playing with a revolving door of quarterbacks in Las Vegas, has officially requested a trade due to a contract dispute, and multiple NFL insiders are pointing to Minnesota as the perfect landing spot. Brad Gagnon from Bleacher Report specifically named the Vikings as a potential trade suitor, writing that first-year starter KJ McCarthy will need as much ammunition as possible beyond superstar Justin Jefferson, especially with Jordan Addison facing a 3-game suspension and Jalen Nailor dealing with a hand injury. Here's what makes Meyers such an intriguing target. The NC State product has been incredibly productive despite playing in one of the most dysfunctional offensive situations in the entire NFL. Over the last 2 seasons with Las Vegas, Meyers has accumulated 1,134 receiving yards and 12 touchdowns while catching passes from a carousel of quarterbacks that would make most receivers lose their minds. In 2024 alone, he hauled in 87 passes for 1,027 yards and 4 touchdowns in just 15 games, proving that he can produce at a high level regardless of who's throwing him the football. The year before, he contributed 71 catches for 807 yards and 8 touchdowns across 16 games, establishing himself as one of the most reliable possession receivers in the league. Think about what adding Meyers would mean for this Vikings offense, especially as McCarthy begins his professional journey. You'd have Justin Jefferson commanding double coverage on one side, Jordan Addison running crisp routes from the slot when he returns from suspension, Jalen Nailor providing speed and versatility, and Meyers offering the kind of sure-handed reliability that young quarterbacks dream about. Gagnon suggested that Minnesota would only need to give up a 2026 4th-round pick to acquire Meyers, which would be highway robbery considering his production and the Vikings' desperate need for receiver depth. With that kind of receiving core, Jefferson, Addison, and Meyers, you'd be hard-pressed to find a better trio of pass catchers anywhere in the NFL. Viking Nation, can you imagine JJ? McCarthy dropping back to pass knowing that someone is guaranteed to be open on every single snap? That's not just depth, that's championship-level firepower. And if you think that Jacobe Meyers' trade scenario was just speculation, the final story might just blow your purple and gold minds because the pieces are falling into place faster than anyone anticipated. Charlie Badawini from the Sporting News dove deeper into this potential blockbuster, explaining exactly how the Minnesota Vikings could acquire their next offensive weapon and set JJ McCarthy up for immediate success in his rookie campaign. The timing couldn't be more perfect. Las Vegas is dealing with a disgruntled star who wants a new contract extension, while Minnesota desperately needs proven production at the wide receiver position to complement their existing weapons. According to Ian Rappaport from NFL Network, Meyers is entering the final year of his current deal and wants a new contract, but the Raiders seem unwilling to meet his demands, creating the perfect storm for a trade that benefits everyone involved. Badawini emphasized that McCarthy needs as much support as possible beyond Justin Jefferson, especially considering the obstacles he's already facing in his first season as the starter. Jefferson has been sidelined for most of training camp and preseason with a hamstring injury, limiting the chemistry building opportunities between quarterback and receiver. Jordan Addison's 3-game suspension removes another key target from the early part of the season. Rondale Moore has been lost for the entire year due to a knee injury. Jalen Nailor has been hampered by a hand injury throughout the preseason. When you add all of those factors together, it becomes crystal clear why the Vikings front office is aggressively scouring the trade market for additional firepower. The beauty of the Meyers acquisition isn't just about adding another body to the receiver room. It's about adding a proven veteran who has succeeded in adverse circumstances and can immediately contribute without requiring extensive development time. Over the past 2 seasons, despite playing with subpar quarterback play in Las Vegas, Meyers has been a model of consistency and productivity, exactly the kind of player who can help a young quarterback build confidence and rhythm. The proposed compensation of just a 2026 4th-round pick seems almost too good to be true for a player of Meyers' caliber and production level. Viking Nation! Imagine the psychological impact on opposing defenses when they have to account for Jefferson's game-breaking speed, Addison's route-running precision, and Meyers' reliable hands all in the same formation. That's not just a receiving course, that's a nightmare scenario for defensive coordinators across the NFL. As McCarthy prepares to take his first snaps in the purple and gold, knowing that he has multiple elite options at his disposal could be the difference between a rocky rookie season and the beginning of a legendary career. The Vikings are doing everything in their power to surround their young quarterback with the weapons he needs to succeed. And if they can pull off this Meyers trade, it might just be the move that transforms this offense from good to absolutely unstoppable. Viking Nation, as we wrap up this week of absolute chaos and franchise-defining decisions, take a moment to absorb what we've just witnessed together. Your Minnesota Vikings didn't just trim their roster to 53 players, they constructed a championship-caliber foundation with surgical precision and ruthless efficiency. Jacobe McCarthy isn't just your starting quarterback, he's the chosen one who will carry the hopes and dreams of an entire region on his shoulders when he steps into Soldier Field to face the Bears. The KJ Osborn situation presents a fascinating opportunity to reunite with a proven playmaker who knows this system, this culture, and this city better than almost anyone available on the market. CJ, Ham's injury is a devastating blow that removes a decade of leadership and versatility, but it also creates roster flexibility that could benefit the team in unexpected ways. The Jacobe Meyers trade scenario represents the kind of aggressive, forward-thinking move that championship organizations make when they identify a window of opportunity. These aren't just roster moves, these are strategic chess pieces being positioned by a front office that understands exactly what it takes to build a Super Bowl contender. Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah and Kevin O'Connell aren't just managing a team, they're orchestrating a symphony of talent that could produce beautiful music for years to come. Viking Nation, if you believe in this franchise more than you hate the Packers, and Saints combined, smash that like button right now and let the entire NFL know that purple and gold runs deeper than any other loyalty in professional sports. Drop a comment below telling us which of these 5 stories has you most excited about their upcoming season. Are you fired up about McCarthy's coronation, intrigued by the Osborn reunion possibility, concerned about Ham's absence, or pumped about the potential Meyers acquisition? Hit that subscribe button if you want to stay ahead of every breaking news story, every trade rumor, and every behind-the-scenes development that shapes this franchise's destiny. Share this video with every Vikings fan you know because they deserve to understand the magnitude of what's happening inside Winter Park right now. The 2025 season is about to begin, and your Minnesota Vikings are positioned to shock the world in ways that nobody outside of this organization truly comprehends yet. This isn't just another season, Viking Nation. This is the beginning of something special, something historic, something that will have Bears fans, Packers fans, and Lions fans waking up in cold sweats for years to come. And if this week felt like an earthquake shaking the foundations of the NFC North, what's coming in the next 72 hours could be the aftershock that completely reshapes the entire division landscape. Because while other teams are making safe, conservative moves, your Vikings are playing chess at a level that most franchises can't even comprehend. Stay tuned, stay loyal, and get ready for a season that will redefine what it means to be part of the Viking Nation.